Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm going to continue to summarize Uni and the Lost Horn. All right, so very interesting. Uni and the Lost Horn is a brand new free Dungeons and Dragons adventure on D&D Beyond. It's absolutely excellent. There's a lot of special things about it. And one of those things is it highlights the brand new free 2024 core rules, which is really cool. And it's one of the first to present that. All right, so let's continue here. So at this point, the all of the 1983 adventurers have returned, and that is Eric and Hank, Sheila and Bobby, Diana and Presto, and they've come back for Uni because Uni's in trouble. And what trouble is Uni in? Well, Kelek, this evil wizard, has taken his horn. Now, the reason he took this horn is he has this powerful magical book, and the book says if you use, says go to this place and then use. And the book tells him to do a ritual. Tells Kelek to do a ritual, and it says if you go to this specific place, this demi-plane. Actually, it says go to this specific, fantasy, this specific location, right? Otherworldly, you're gonna have to, portal there. And then if you do this ritual with Uni's horn, then you will have access to immense power, right? And that's what Kelek wants. Kelek wants to be the most powerful wizards in all the realm. Okay. Now, currently, Kelek serves Venger. Okay. And the adventure tells us this, and it tells us this very quickly, right? It's like, hey, none of this is real. Kelek is not actually going to get any power at all. All of this is a trap by Venger to get Kelek to go into the crystal ball, which is a demi-plane created by Venger. And if Kelek will go there because the ritual book told him to, right? And the reality is, the ritual book is to get immense power so that he would have enough power to overthrow Venger, and Venger would have to serve him, right? But all of this is a trick. Venger is testing his loyalty, right? So none of this is real. Kelek is going to end up Kelek is going to take Uni's horn. That's real. Kelek is going to end up in the crystal ball. That's real. But the crystal ball is not a location where Kelek can gain power. It's a trap by Venger. And Venger's plan is to say, oh, you tried to get a bunch of power so that you could overthrow me, but now I know you're disloyal to me, right? So this is a little odd. I thought this was very kind of like, what are the stakes of this? Like, we're saving, we're going to get Uni's horn back, but at the end of the day, this is just a work office dispute between Venger and Kelek. Like that's what we're stopping. I thought it was kind of odd. The other thing is, there's a lot of discussion on this on Twitter right now, and there has been for a while. How do we write adventures, right? And people are like, well, if you don't, if you put in chapter 8, like, so they're like, hey, well, they're telling you right at the gate, everything that's happening here really doesn't matter, right? Like, Kelek's not going to get any power. Venger's going to say, oh, you suck, Kelek. And that's going to be the end of it, right? Like, there's not like, you're not saving the world. You're literally just involved in a work office dispute between Venger and Kelek. And you're like, what? Like, and you're like, oh, yeah, it's important you put Uni's horn back on. And I'm like, people had to travel worlds to do that? Like, it is kind of odd. And on Twitter, there's this debate, and they're like, well, it would have been better if the players and the dungeon master didn't know until chapter 8 that that none of this mattered. Well, first of all, I think the real solution is you should be writing adventures that actually matter, right? So this adventure did matter because it fixed literally a 41-year-old problem IRL problem that Dungeons and Dragons had, which was that the kids got trapped in D&D forever and were never able to return. Dungeon Master never helped them to return. In fact, Dungeon Master still hasn't helped them to return because we're told that they return, but we are not told at any point that Dungeon Master aided them to return. That's very interesting, right? Like, so, this is, quite interesting the way all of this rolls out, right? So, so basically, that's the structure of what's happening in Uni and the Lost Horn. And at this point, they're going to be, kind of progressing through. So thank you for letting me summarize this. I think this is a historically important adventure, right? And I just kind of wanted to get this in here and make sure that I could summarize it for you so that we can discuss it together. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion, nothing more, nothing less, on Uni and the Lost Horn. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing and have a fetch millennium.